How's the Road Break family today? Before we start, we want to say to all of you, Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy
Happy Turkey
Thanksgiving,
Day!
everybody.
Yep, Jean-Paul, Egg, and myself, we want to wish you, on behalf of all the Road Break staff, all the producers, our cameraman, everybody that is taking care of us, behind the scenes and everything. We want to say Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, family. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for giving us a chance, and Thank you for giving us a place in your hearts and in your houses. And we would just want to say, enjoy the day. Enjoy the turkey. Enjoy the stuffing. Enjoy some gravy, mashed potatoes, and all of that. And we will not eat until the review is over. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
We
we have
sacrifice for
today
you,
some.
family.
This is only for you, family, for every single one of you. You understand that? All the love in the world for you, our family. And today we have NXT for you guys. And the first thing that started the show was some NXT, NXT, NXT. We are NXT. We are
Yeah,
NXT.
they had some. I don't. Do you know who? I know you're not like big into hip hop. I have no idea if that was a rapper or who that guy was who was singing.
He's a
And
rapper, I know that,
okay,
because he did a rap version of the theme with Adam Cole over the
okay,
Undisputed Era during one of the takeovers, two takeovers before this one.
okay,
Takeover 20, the one takeover, yeah, it was just on June,
okay,
the Money in the Bank weekend. I
okay,
think
okay.
that's he did a rap version of the Undisputed Era theme song. That's what I know. Do I know the
Yeah.
name? No, on that. I'm not big on rap, and I didn't do my homework on that, so I'm sorry,
No,
family.
no, no. That's
I got
yeah.
to
Because I didn't even know who
smash
this
some
guy was.
potatoes for the mashed potatoes. So
Yeah. So the whole locker room, they're coming out celebrating, and this is the one thing I liked on Raw. The show started out with Seth Rollins calling out the locker room for because they all sucked.
because
Now,
they suck, they lost
now,
in the
yeah,
Survivor Series.
and in NXT they killed in the Survivor Series, so they come out partying. So that's like it's cool. I hope SmackDown, they kind of do the same thing like Raw does. But they had a whole locker room comes out and they're all celebrating the whole weekend of dominance and all that. And then the Undisputed Era comes out, and they pretty
Yeah,
much say like the only reason NXT is successful is because of all of them,
yeah.
and
It's
they're
because of the
calling.
Undisputed Era. Adam Cole is saying, "For God's sakes, what are you celebrating about?" It's because of us that we won in the Survivor Series. And
Mhm.
then Champa takes the microphone and he goes, and what does he say?
Yeah, Champ interrupts, and he pretty much says that he told Goldie that Daddy was going to war. Now he's back from war, so the downfall of the Undisputed Era starts now. And the one thing I don't know if you heard this, but I had the volume pretty high, and I think WWE they try to like mute it, but they also let it go. Is when Cole was talking and he was saying, oh, they should thank the Undisputed Era. The crowd was chanting "fuck you."
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I
think
was
I
like,
did
that was
hear that.
badass.
I think I did hear that, but it's good. I mean, they
Yeah.
have to let these things
And
go.
and that's the one thing to me. You know how we always said about the Dynamite crowds are so good, but the NXT crowd is just as legit.
And the main difference is the NXT crowd in Full Sail University is only
Yeah,
500 people
yeah. To
in
me,
comparison to
it
like a
reminds.
thousand, 2,000.
Yeah, to me, it reminds me like a ECW crowd for sure.
Yeah, they have that vibe. They're
Yeah,
really fans that are into the product. They're like
yeah,
die-hard fans that are there every single show, and they just want to be there and root their guys. So it was good. I really appreciate that moment, and yeah, like I said, it creates a good vibe for the show. So
yeah,
then,
yeah. Then
yeah,
and
Tampa said that, and then what else happened?
says that Lee and Dominic will beat up O'Reilly. So he's pretty much saying, he's coming for Cole. Lee and Dijakovic are coming for Fish and O'Reilly.
Because there was
And
supposed to be a tag team match for the tag team championships.
yep.
Yeah.
And then that no one is going to stand in their way, and that's undisputed. And then Finn Balor comes out, and
See,
he
that
said,
was nice.
"Yeah,
I
yeah, they're
appreciate
all
that.
setting up like the whole main story." And that's the one thing, like I said, you know, we got this War Games build, and it was rushed, but it was like after this, you hope to see that they really appreciate and focus on the story, and that's what Triple H is doing.
Yes,
I
because
think at
yeah,
least with this opening
yeah.
segment and
Champa
stuff.
said there's not a single person that is standing in my way for me to get Goldie back. Champa
Mhm.
is completely determined to get the championship that he never lost, and he says, "We went to war, I won, and now it's time for me to focus right back where in Goldie."
Yeah, and
get that championship back.
the one line I like that he said he's the king to Balor's prince. Or
Oh
like
yeah,
Balor's the prince, but he's the king.
it's like Balor
Yeah.
is like, you might be the prince, but you're about to meet the king.
Yeah, and then he challenges him to a match, and Lee says that not only Finn will lose, and then he calls to Fish and O'Reilly, and he's like, "Come on, boys, it's basking time."
Yeah, it was good. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, see, Keith Lee is so over, and there
Uh,
was reports, like you said, Jean Paul reported this on the page, on the Facebook page. Also, you can always check it out. That Vince McMahon was so thankful to Keith Lee for his performance during Survivor Series, and I think that there's going to be big things coming his way. So it is very good to see that like all the hard work for Keith Lee is really paying off, and paying off really fast. So and there was even more. He even blew the house down. He turned the house completely, burned the house down because of the stuff that he did during this match.
oh
So
yeah,
they said, let's do it right now. Tag team championship match, Undisputed Era against Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic. Hey, I
there
could
you
say it.
go.
Thanksgiving miracle,
Yeah.
people. Mwah. Go ahead. The match
So
was really interesting, really good, really contested. They take us to some moments, Jean Paul.
so then, right at the start of the bell, the Undisputed Era, they start, and Lee takes on both men. He throws Fish to the outside onto O'Reilly, and then it was at this moment, I think it was here, that Fish actually got hurt.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
there was a
Bobby Fish
spot where
got
he
injured.
threw him, yeah, and then
Yeah, he
Roderick
threw
Strong
them
came in.
onto the mat, and then he fell, I think, on O'Reilly. By the
Yeah,
way that like his knee landed, it was bad. It was that bad to the point that like he had to be replaced by Roderick Strong, and he
yeah, that
came
was
out with
like some
street clothes.
some Scorpio Sky action. He's wrestling him in his jeans, or it was like black dress pants or whatever he was
Yes,
wearing. But
yes, but he didn't put tape on, so shame on Roderick Strong on that. He should have put some
yeah,
tape around the wrist. But anyway, we had a commercial break during this. But then
yeah,
after the commercial break, then we see Roderick Strong, and then of course they did address the situation, and they said that there's gonna be Bobby Fish was taken out of the match due to medical reasons, and then Roderick Strong is fighting. By the way, Jean Paul, what are your thoughts? Let's start talking just very briefly about this. Mauro Ronaldo was still absent. He was absent from like the commentary duty.
the only thing that I'm going to say on that now is that if this is all just stemming from what Corey Graves says, that would be like any of the wrestlers or anybody else getting upset. Like what if, Shawn Michaels, how he always says he, bullied people in the 96, 97. Like, that would be like Vader not showing up to work. To me, it's like if that's your job, you got beef with somebody, you got to handle it outside, but you're still obligated to do your job. And if his mental health is that bad that one tweet affected it that much, then he might need to find a new job. And also, I think if WWE, if they knew it was affecting Morrow this much, because and you saw the backlash that JBL faced, and I'm not a fan of JBL, so I think rightfully so. I'm also not a big fan of Corey Graves either, but with all that being put aside, I think if WWE, like I said, they're aware of this. So if they're not having any, negative things against Corey Graves and firing back on him, punishing him in any way, then WWE doesn't view it as a serious thing either.
Yeah, like the only thing I will say, I will add to that is like today Corey Graves sent actually another tweet message. He
Mm-hmm.
he tweeted out, he apologized to Mauro Ronaldo, but when it comes to this situation, I feel that like the stupidity comes from Corey Graves because he shouldn't even be saying this kind of remarks,
Yeah.
knowing the story that Mauro Ronaldo has.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I agree with you. Like he at least should go and fulfill his commitments
Yeah.
because we live in a world that like we're constantly judged, we're constantly criticized, and I mean we sympathize with what Mauro Ronaldo probably deals with every day. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that like it should be handled a lot different. For example, the everybody else in the raw in the WWE company, everybody else like the other commenters, the wrestlers, everybody that works there should know the problem, and you should know who to joke with.
Yeah.
You should know. And we work in, you and me have worked in so many companies, big companies, big names. You know that you have to find some people to joke with, but there's some others that you don't even go, and
Mm-hmm.
talk, or you don't even like go and say those kind of things. So that's, I think, is in Corey Grace's behalf. He should not be saying those kind of things, knowing
Yeah.
what can trigger from Ronaldo. But you're right, though. I think the WWE doesn't really see it as a big deal because this could be potentially something that they could use to fire Corey Graves.
Yeah,
but I guess he
that's
has
what I
to
mean. Like
complete the pool
he just got this, his off the what is it? His
after the
off the
bell, after
yeah,
the
after the
bell
bell.
podcast.
Yeah, he just got that new podcast and all this other stuff, and like they push him in like that regard, and they give him stuff. He's the number one commentator. Him and Michael Cole on SmackDown. But like I said, if WWE, if they're just letting him tweet this and there's no repercussions, then they mustn't care, and you know,
They don't sympathize with Ronaldo as much as
yeah,
they should because okay, mental illness is something that is real. We should all be helping these people because that's all they need is help. They need to be heard. They need to be taken care of. They need to be
hmm
appreciated. And like I said, what Corey Graves did is not good because you should know who to joke with, and Moro I don't think is the right person to do that because you know what you can trigger, and this is the main issue. But it's not letting either Moro. He should still show up for work. So anyway, on behalf of that, Tom Phillips handled the whole show.
yeah,
So
and
we have
I actually didn't think Tom Phillips did that bad. Now that's probably because he was paired with Beth Phoenix and Nigel McGuinness, and they're both good, and they both know like their role and what to say and what to do on commentary, and then Phillips just had to fill in. Obviously, he was no Moro, but I didn't think it was bad.
no, and also before Moro, Tom Phillips used to do NXT. In the
Yeah.
early days of NXT, Tom Phillips was the main announcer.
Yep.
The play-by-play guy was Corey Graves. So, I'm sorry, Tom Phillips. That was Tom Phillips. Is before he went to SmackDown,
Yeah,
he was in
and it was
NXT.
and
So
the
it
color
was
was
good to
very
see him
good.
coming back. And like you said, he's not to the point that like you can say he's bad at it. So he's pretty enjoyable. He's not on. He's no Moro, but at least he can carry the show. So
Yeah.
anyway, we go back to the tag team championship
Yeah,
match.
and then kind of moving on a little bit more towards the end, Keith Lee, he tries a spirit bomb, but that gets countered. And then both men, both Strong and Fisher in the ring, and then Lee knocks them out after the spirit bomb was countered. Um, they go to the outside, and Lee tries to dive, but they fake him out, and
Yep.
then they knock him, they chop block him on the apron, and then back in the ring. O'Reilly goes for like a dive or some kind of maneuver on Keith Lee, and he just like headbutts him right out of the air. And I thought that was a really good spot, just
That was
because
really good.
we always say about WWE, they know, like they showed it from O'Reilly's back when he jumped, and then when the headbutt, it cut to behind. The shot was from behind Lee's back, so it really made it look like that headbutt really connected.
And,
So they
and
showed
like
the
you
right
said, like
camera angle.
it's WWE's camera work. Is
Yeah,
when you know when to shoot it, where to move the camera, where to change the camera angle, and then you can see, or at least you believe that it's more devastating that we could actually be.
yes. And
Then
then
Keith Lee did
after
a
oh, go
tope,
ahead.
right?
Yeah, that was. I believe that was earlier
Okay,
in the match. Yeah. I kind of skipped ahead towards the end here a little bit,
okay.
but then
Then a really good spot came. Not a lot of people like saw that. Towards the end of the match, then we can see Keith Lee went to the outside and Adam Cole comes out. And
yeah,
then Keith Lee ends up like shoulder tackle him all the way up to like, in the barricade and
that
to
was
the crowd.
yeah. When actually saw like a GIF of that before I saw the episode of NXT, and it was just I like was watching it over and over because it was so funny. Like, cause he just went flying, and then it was
Adam Cole sold that thing like
yeah,
nobody. Like you will
oh
see
yeah,
he shoulder tackle him. You can see he pushed him, but he goes out like all the way up in the air, and he falls into like a lot of people that they were there on the fans, and it was absolutely great. See, for me, that was the main thing that happened in the match.
yeah. And that when all this happens, I pretty much distracted everybody. And then they hit like a total elimination, but it wasn't just like the normal high low they hit. They kind of
Yes,
hit it from like the front and the back instead of the side. It was
yes,
like a
on
weird
Dijakovic.
variation of they hit it, yeah, on Dijakovic, and they pinned him. So I don't know if this sets up something maybe to revisit Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic, because it's like, why were you out there worried about Adam Cole? Why weren't you in the ring? To break up the pinfall, you caused this distraction. Because I don't think that you could have made these guys the tag team champions because they're so big and so powerful. Like, how would you beat them except by a distraction or something like this?
Yeah, like maybe they revisit that feud, or what I think is like because I did see like Keith Lee was like kind of holding Dijakovic after the end of the match,
Yeah,
but like maybe they go separate ways once again.
that's what I think.
Maybe
Like, yeah,
maybe the
if
Keith
you
Lee
don't
can go
feud them,
to the North American Championship, or Dijakovic can do the same thing. But I don't see them really becoming a tag team and going after the
No.
Undisputed Era after this match. But the
Yeah.
match itself was really good. I think that they both teams did a great job, and they set up a really good thing for the beginning of the show. But at
Yeah.
the end, the
Man.
Undisputed Era keep the tag team championships. Then we get the highlights of the women's War Games match, and then the main thing, of course, in during that time, it was Dakota Kai's heel turn. Kathy Kelly interviews Candice. Candice LeRae is going to have a match with Dakota Kai later on in the night, and Dakota challenges not her friend but Candice, but the big sister is Tegan Knox.
Yeah, she said because her like they were all friends, and she says that she's not challenging her friend Candace anymore. Now she's challenging the older sister of Tegan Knox. So she's pretty much like that because she said Tegan was she helped train her and helped show her the ropes, and she said it felt like she had to watch like her younger sister get beat up. So she was like, I'm coming after you now, and this is like I feel like a good feud to kind of for Dakota Kai until her and Tegan Knox can eventually feud.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what I think. Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox is going to be, of course, like the most logical feud, the most
Yeah,
logical program that they can come up with is your best friend turns on you. Of course, you got to go through that. For me, that's the NXT version of Cody Rhodes and MJF.
yeah. So
Same thing.
this,
Really
yeah,
good
this,
friends. They turn onto each other.
yeah. So then that sets up a match for later on in the night, and then we got Shane's Thorne versus Mansoor,
Yeah.
and this
We get
match
some
was
highlights from Mansoor when he
yeah,
won the Battle Royal in Saudi Arabia, and then he beat Cesaro also. We've said
yep.
that he's a good wrestler, so let's
Yeah,
talk
this
about it.
this match was really short compared to what we've seen Shane Thorne in before when he had really good matches with Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed. This match was maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
really short. It was really short.
Yeah, and then exchange of chops, sunset flip, standing moonsault, suplex on the outside, which that was a good spot. Shane Thorne hits good suplexes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
He
and yeah,
he's
he
a
on
suplex
Mans,
machine. That's what Thorne.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then Mansoor he dives to the outside and he like lands like an elbow on him, and then springboard backbreaker for the win. I didn't think it was. Like I don't know, is that his finisher? I thought his finisher was like a moonsault.
I think yeah that was the moonsault, but I guess he won with this with signature.
Yeah,
He
that's what I
had the
mean. So that
signature,
to me,
and
it was a weird, it was just a weird
it was
match.
just a weird ending. But the
Yeah,
one thing that I want to revisit with you is something that you said in the previous videos that we've done. Is that like we knew that like this episode of NXT wasn't going to be an extremely great episode
yeah,
because a lot of the wrestlers probably had the night off or at least they needed some time to heal, time to recover because of all the work that they did before the Survivor Series and for the Survivor Series. So that's
yeah,
why we got to see different matches. It just different things just to pull the 2 hours of television. And
yeah,
that's why Mansoor comes in. I mean, the match was good for what it was, only 4 minutes,
yeah.
and then
I
he's
mean, he's a good
springboard and done.
wrestler. He's a good wrestler for sure.
Yeah, but
He
we need
knows moves and
if they
stuff.
want to use them properly, or I mean, if they want to give them a better spot, then they have to put them in programs that are actually meaningful to people.
Yeah,
Because this
and
match with
also
Shane
like
Thorne
they need
doesn't
to
mean anything.
like I don't care. Like I said, even though I did say he's a good wrestler, at the end of the day, I don't care how good he is. If he has no personality or there's no, like you said, no feud, no story to put him in, what do we care about him at the end of the day? So you
Yeah,
need to do
why do
something with him.
we? Yeah, why do we even talking about him? Or see, look at the time that we're giving it to like talk about this match. Probably three,
Yeah,
4 minutes also, as
yeah,
long as the match. So yeah,
exactly. So
that's
then
what it was. And
moving
then we
on
move
to
forward.
something that we actually cared about a little more was
Yep,
Candice and Dakota Kai,
yep.
and this match was really good. Big spot early on, a suicide dive by Kai, or a suicide dive onto Dakota Kai from Candice, and then she hits a senton. Kai counters that and sends Candice face first into the ring post. She ties her up on the ropes and then hits a big boot to Candice's face for a near 2 count. That was, I believe, the first near fall of the match.
It was the
And then
first near fall.
and then
Yes.
she hits another big boot. Kai misses a kick, and then at this point, Candice kind of takes over. And then she counters into a power bomb. Candice suplex Kai onto the apron, which was a really good spot. And there was almost a count out there. She rolled in at a 7, so not too close, but close, compared to what we
Close
normally
enough,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough for what they do. Then is
Um.
a there's a
Some.
tornado DDT on Kai, correct?
Yeah, yeah. That was I couldn't even tell what that was at first because the way she hit it, it was like it was more like the way Kai sold it. She kind of like flopped to the side instead of like spiking head down, like head
Yes.
first.
I didn't
But
see
yeah,
that.
I mean, it still looked
That's
pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah,
See, like Kai is like a good wrestler. We've said that like she's a really good wrestler, and I
yeah.
feel that this new attitude needs the new anger towards like the people that she thought they were her friends is going to be good. So I think I see good things for Dakota Kai on 2020.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then just skipping ahead here to the end, the match ends at a DQ because she brought out this
The
the
knee
brace,
brace,
yeah, the knee
the knee
brace from
brace
Tegan Knox,
from
and
Tegan Knox. Yeah.
when Candice pretty much took over and it was like, no real way of her winning, she like desperation just grabbed for this knee brace right in front of the ref and just started beating her up with it. So then it
Yeah.
was an automatic DQ, and then after the match she starts beating up Candice, throwing her all around the ring, and then out comes Rhea to make the save.
Rhea
So
Ripley comes out to make the save. What are your thoughts about this?
well, she's definitely the superstar of the weekend. I think that they booked her a little too good. I don't know. I still think that the heel should have won in the women's war game match, but she's definitely was the woman of the weekend. From beating Charlotte on SmackDown, and then the War Games win, and then the winning at Survivor Series. So they're booking her strong, but she's almost in too many stories because she's in the main event for the belt, and she's in this. I feel like this should just be Candice and Tegan. I don't think Rhea needs to be in it. I feel
Yeah.
she should have beat up Candice, and Candice should have just been laying there, just beat up and hurt, and you should have gave Dakota Kai that victory. Like the heel, like moral victory, where it's like, yeah, the match ends in a DQ, but I still beat you up, and she looks
Yeah.
strong because now she looks like a coward.
Yeah, and also like yeah, Tegan Knox should have been the one coming out.
Yeah, well, Tegan Knox was too hurt, so I don't think she should have came out yet.
Or, or,
But
at- or at least like be yeah, like you said, if there's no Tegan Knox coming back, at least just have Dakota Kai go over,
yeah, because
despite
that's what
being
I
the
mean. Yeah,
heel's tactic, but at least have her come, be over instead of having Rhea Ripley coming out on two segments to feud with two different women.
yeah, and then moving on after this, we get Kathy Kelly. She interviews Champa. Champa then, he said the same thing that he might call himself the Prince and the Demon, and the longest reigning champ. But Champa is the one who turned NXT, into the A show. So
Yes,
this is just kind of setting up for their match later on in
for
the
their
night.
match later
Yeah,
in the night, and then we have Cameron Grimes said he always wanted to work for the WWE, how he has the fastest victory, and he's gonna do what he was born to do, and that's his run through everyone in NXT.
yeah,
Cameron Grimes, I see good things for him. Do you like him?
yeah, we didn't see him for a while, and I didn't know like what his gimmick was. I guess he's kind of like I don't know if I want to say like a redneck or just like a good old boy from the South or like what his deal is, but like his gimmick. But I mean, he's definitely a great wrestler, I think. From what we've
Oh
seen so
yeah,
far, his match with Matt Riddle was good, and
oh yeah. Like I think that like he's a good wrestler, and hopefully if they give him more like of a personality, more like a gimmick, something that he can do or say, I think he's gonna be good.
yeah,
For the mid card scene, he's gonna be absolutely great.
and I don't know if he was hurt or if he just got pushed to the back burner because of all the Survivor Series build and all that other shit. But now we're seeing like all these other people come back into the NXT, be back on television. So
Oh
hopefully,
yeah, like
hopefully we continue to see that, like how we said in the Dynamite review last night, how we like how NXT rotates the roster, and we weren't seeing that for a couple weeks. These previous weeks building towards these two pay-per-views, but hopefully now we can see that.
oh
We
yeah,
see
like yeah,
Cameron
I
Grimes.
absolutely agree with you. That's what we always been asking for is rotation. Keep the talent going every week. One week the one group of talent, the other week the other one, so that way you keep things fresh and everybody's not so overexposed or overly exposed. That way you keep your roster like everybody in it. You keep giving them some TV time, and you get to give them some kind of a notoriety when it comes to that. So then, Jean Paul Egg, we have Cruiserweight Championship match, somewhat of like a rematch because we see
Yeah,
this on the Survivor Series pre-show, and is Akira Tozawa against Leo Rush.
and the one thing I want to say quick is Akira Tozawa. I mentioned it in the Raw review. You know how he had the match at Survivor Series. Is how you see this is like almost like a rematch of sorts. And then he had the job match against Andrade on Raw. Akira Tozawa, even though was losing, he's had a good, past couple days.
Yeah.
But
Oh
can we
yeah.
get
Like
but can we
he's
get
been
this
featured.
guy but can we get him some new fucking music?
You
His
don't
theme
like
is
the
so bad. No.
no, you're like
His theme is so awful, I think.
yeah. I mean, is it like the
Because he
one
has
thing?
that, and then Leo Rush comes out, and he actually has like a song. Some guys rapping in it and stuff. It's an actual song.
Yeah, well, the one thing that they say, like in WWE, the CFOs are not there anymore. So, and also Jim Johnson is not there anymore. He used to be
Yeah,
the guy that was able to create all these most popular theme songs like Undertaker, Kurt Angle, The Rock, and the list goes on and on. The Game, Triple H, he took so many songs. The guy's not there anymore. So right now they have probably the crappiest, the shittiest group of people that they come up with theme songs, because that's something that WWE is lacking when it comes to the new guys. The new guys have god awful theme songs. For example,
yeah.
Buddy Murphy has a awful song. Aaron Rowan, he has an awful song, and Tozawa, he has like you said, you said it to me. He has the Jobbers theme song.
Yeah, but and then you got other guys who like Aleister Black and Ricochet are the two that come to mind. Besides when WWE added the little shitty sound effects, their themes are badass.
Oh
So
yeah,
NXT, if you go to NXT, they'll usually give you a good theme, and if they
yeah,
don't, then you know what your future is, and it's you probably a jobber.
yeah. You're probably a jobber forever, because
Yeah,
if
if you
you're
don't
not
have a
able
good
to
theme,
pull out
yeah.
like a theme song in WWE and NXT, you're probably your future is gonna be you're just gonna be a jobber for life.
Mm.
So let's talk about this match. Both men tried to grapple each other. That's the beginning of the match. There was a lot of speed. There was a lot of speed between both men,
Yep.
and they kept going like hitting big moves on each other. We know what Leo Rush is capable of.
Oh
Akira
yeah.
Tozawa, like you said before, he might be looked as a jobber, but he's a good wrestler.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just
He is. He's
maybe because he's Japanese, he doesn't have the opportunity.
Well, that's definitely part of it. We know how, what Vince thinks of certain races and pushes and this and that. And Akira Tozawa unfortunately falls into that
Fall
category.
in that category, but he's a great of a wrestler.
Yeah,
He's
hey,
a
his
hell of a
strikes
wrestler.
are good. He's a good technical wrestler. All like
Kicker,
his, yeah.
he does a German suplex. He does a lot of those things, and I think that like if he should deserve an opportunity, a good opportunity, because he has enough talent to pull that off. Correct?
Yeah, I think so. And I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
take
like
me
he was
through like some
cruiserweight
spots.
champion before.
Oh yeah,
One of the first big spots, Akira hits a senton on Rush onto the apron, and then a fireman's carry into a drop kick sends Rush to the outside. He hits another senton then on Leo Rush, and then a missile drop kick to Rush. And at this point, he's going to pin Rush, but what does he get? The
he
rope
gets the
break.
rope break, and what happens when you get a rope break? We all
Ah,
say
ah.
"Ada." So he got a rope break. It's
Yeah,
a
and then
great back and forth between both guys. Both get a palm kick to the face, palm kick to Rush on the apron, followed by the release of a German suplex. I really enjoyed that one,
yeah.
that spot, because see, Leo Rush was trying to go for his finisher, but he got a counter into the German suplex. And Akira Tozawa does a great German suplex.
Oh yeah, and
So
that's what I mean. Like both guys, you see, this is like was a really good showcase now for Akira Tozawa,
yes,
and I don't know if this was done, how far ahead this was booked, but I like to believe this is something that Triple H is like, you're not gonna fucking job this guy out on Monday Night Raw after we had him in a good Survivor Series, so I'm gonna bring him here on Wednesday and we're gonna make him look good.
oh yeah, because see, like you said, Tozawa was the cruiserweight champion.
Yeah,
And also like he's a good wrestler, so there shouldn't be any reason why he should be a jobber. The one thing I think, the one biggest limitation that Tozawa has is the fact that he doesn't know enough English. I believe,
yeah,
because every time that he's got a promo, then is in Japanese. So that's why I think that they don't push him like to the top of his ability, and
yeah,
that's not really fair for them. Get
yeah.
him a mouthpiece. He could be and turn him heel. That way he can feud against Rush. He can feud against
Either that or just have a lot of
Garza.
his
Against Garza.
do what they did with Shinsuke Nakamura when he first came to NXT. Have a lot of the video, have a lot of the interaction be, whoever he's going against calls him out in the middle of the ring, and then on the Tron or the screen, that's where he pops up, and then you can just put subtitles, and we can all
Exactly.
read it. You know.
You don't need to just okay if he's not able to talk, or get him a mouthpiece. Like for example, what are they doing with Nakamura right now? They put Sami Zayn with him. Do something
Yeah.
like that, because the guy, you shouldn't even waste a guy with the quality that Akira Tozawa has.
Yeah. So then after
Walk me through the end.
Yeah, so then after they hit that German suplex onto the apron, both men or they get into the ring, or actually no, it wasn't on the apron, it was just on the outside. They get back in at a 9 count. Akira and him and Tozawa, Akira and Leo Rush, they keep going after each other. Rush with a German suplex, and then he does another German suplex with a bridge for a 2 count. And then he climbs up to the top rope. Rush counters. He hits him with a knee strike, and then Rush hits the final hour twice to make sure he put him away, which I liked. Because again, that just shows how legit Akira Tozawa is. That he
He
wanted to
had
hit
to
his
have two
finisher
finishers
twice. Yeah,
for him to be put away, for him to be done, and that's legit. That's cool.
yeah.
And like you said, I think Triple H is actually showcasing Tozawa a lot better than he's ever been
And
showcased in the main roster.
And the cool thing I liked about this match is because Leo Rush has no issue with Akira Tozawa. His feud and the only person he hates right now is Angel Garza. Because after
Yes,
this match, they had a standing ovation. The crowd gave him a standing ovation, and it was legit for both guys in the ring. Because it
yes.
was like this was a respectable contest, and this match I thought was badass. This was probably the best match of the night, I think.
I will say for this episode, it was the best match. Yeah, and see, like once again, the cruiserweights are still in the show. Do
Hmm.
something better with the cruiserweights. Do not have him on after Smackdown. The crowd
Yeah,
is
and,
already
and that's
dead.
the thing. I
You
want there
know,
to be like a division. And even though it will be like a slow burning division because you only have 2 hours and you have a lot of guys, you might only focus on the cruiserweights one match per show, but you can at least still make a division with some guys and tell a story. And like you said, there's still 205 live, so they can continue it on there.
what they
But
should do, Jean Paul, they should have 205 live before NXT.
yeah,
Get the crowd excited. For example, you could always go ahead and say, "Hey, let's have a battle royal. Let's have a triple threat match, a fatal four way. Whoever wins wins a championship match with Leo Rush during the NXT show.
yeah.
Do
And
something
and
like that.
even and yeah, I mean like do something you can do stuff like that just to get a match on NXT, but you could also really build a story with all these guys if you wanted to because they're talented and they're just being
Exactly.
wasted
And
on
you have so
after
many of them.
SmackDown.
Even Mike Kanellis is not a terrible wrestler. He's okay. Kalisto is good. You have Lince Dorado, Metalik. They're all good. You had Carrillo before he went to Raw, and you have also who else do you have there? Well, you had only Larkin. You had Larkin
Yeah,
there. You have Drew Gulak before he went to SmackDown, and of course they're lost in translation again. But I think that like if they try to make the cruiserweight division better, they can. They just have to want to try it, or they just want to do it. So I feel that's my 2 cents on that.
yeah,
And
and
then we have Kathy Kelly interviews Finn Balor. He says he's gonna show Champa in his dark. He's gonna take him in his dark world of pain, and he's about to meet the prince. So there's a lot of signs. There's a lot of teases of maybe Finn Balor will go back to his old gimmick, Prince Devitt. So
yeah,
he's
which
already teasing it. He's already trying to tease that idea a lot in our heads. So then we go to a match that like you probably appreciated a lot because I know how you like in this case I will say
Xia
Chinese.
Li.
Xia Li is
Yeah.
is a good wrestler, good
Hmm.
Chinese wrestler against Vanessa Bourne. Tell us about that match.
Well, this match, when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a squash match, and that's pretty much what it was. They went back to it was last week or the week before when Xia Li was against who is it?
Aaliyah,
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, and
Yeah, and she
she
broke her
broke her
nose.
nose. She
To
broke her
me,
nose.
they're not booking her in this sense, but to me, Xia Li is almost like an Oscar like junior. You know what I mean? How she's
Yes,
just like legit and how strong she is. And
powerful,
how like yeah, and
intense.
how yeah, like when she hits you, she hits you. It doesn't look like a limp wristed punch. It's she's hitting
It's
you.
pretty
Yeah,
good. Yes, there's a lot of power involved in that. It's a strong style. It's like you said, it's like a mini Asuka because
yeah.
you feel the same intensity in every single of her matches. I will say she reminds me of the girl from AEW, the one that she's the number one contender now.
Oh, Shida, Hikaru
Shida,
Shida.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hikaru Shida, because she has the same outcome. She comes out with a thingy. She
she has
comes
a
out
fan.
the
Yeah,
fan. She comes out with the fan, and also both of them good wrestlers.
yeah.
So I really appreciate Xia Li. Xia Li has a lot of potential for me if they want to go the Asuka route. Meaning, if you want to have a powerful woman like that, that will be able to dethrone Shayna Baszler. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to do that, but I mean, maybe within
No, I
months,
think I think
maybe
yeah, that role is reserved for
Rhea Ripley.
Rhea.
But
Yeah.
maybe, within when 2020 comes about, then I think that they're going to be able to try to do a pay per view like that, a program with Xia Li against Rhea Ripley, because you know
Yeah.
that Rhea Ripley could easily go back to being heel. Because if
Oh yeah, for
her
sure.
days as a face, I think they're counted for me.
Oh yeah. I think they're gonna have to do something because you're gonna at some point have to do Tegan Knox and Rhea Ripley. You're gonna have to retouch on that feud, how she, broke her leg and all that stuff, or how they played up that story, or the knee, whatever that was, the knee injury, was it?
Yes,
Yeah, the knee
yes, it
injury.
was doing
Yeah,
that match. Yeah,
yeah, on the Mae Young Classic. So
the Mae Young Classic. Yes,
you're gonna have to
2018
retouch
Mae
on
Young
that.
Classic.
You're gonna have to retouch on that story at some point. So, like, I
Oh yeah,
agree with that. So with her
absolutely,
turning.
absolutely. Well, it was a really squash match. Xia Li beats Vanessa Bourne, and then the Shayna Baszler, her lackeys come out, the four horsewomen,
Yeah,
Marina Shafir and Jessie Manduke.
yeah, they
They
come
come out.
out and they beat up Xia Li, which again, this is one of those things where you could have just had them like they come out and they beat up Xia Li, but to me, I feel like Xia Li, she was fighting back, but then just the numbers took over. So I would like to see that be a program, and maybe you pair Xia Li with someone else to go against the horsewomen, just because I feel like you need to get them on TV more. Because all they
You
do is
need to
follow
like
Shayna around, and they're like to me they have no personality. When I see them on TV, it's like they don't do anything for me.
they
So
don't talk.
you need to build them up and do something with them.
Yes, you need to start and also let them have some more matches because the
Yeah,
only way they're gonna get better is they keep having matches. So
yeah,
if they wanna ever have that feud that I've heard for years is the Force women from WWE to the Force women of the UFC, they need to have enough matches under their belts so they can produce a good match. And I
yeah.
don't see that yet. But
No,
to me, like you said, they're just lackeys from Shayna Baszler. They come up, they beat up people, but and also like I'm thinking to myself, what's the point of this? There was no story behind it.
yeah.
Why are they beating
The
up
only
Xia Li?
thing, yeah, you beat up Xia Li just to get Shayna Baszler to stand there to look like, oh, I'm the most dominating force because this woman just beat someone in like 30 seconds to a minute. Now we beat her up, and I'm going to say that I'm the best and that like NXT is the number one brand and all this other shit because of me. And then Rhea comes out. So it's like everything, if you follow this whole path, it
It's
all
just to
leads to
get to
just,
that.
yeah, to build Rhea up, which
Yeah.
again, I love Rhea. She's badass. She's legit. She'd snap me in half. But you don't do the Roman Reigns fucking bullshit push from one person.
Or to get the other over. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. For example, like don't do
she
this
was
at Xia Li's
yeah
expense.
yeah
You know?
because she's still like Rhea would have been over if they would have lost the War Games match, and you have them win at Survivor Series. She would have been over if she didn't come out and chase off Dakota Kai and make Dakota Kai look like a sniveling heel crybaby run away. You could have had Dakota Kai, like you said, go over here. So there's lots of different segments that like all these women. It's like the whole women's division is just Rhea and Shayna. That's what
For
everything
now,
is
and
gonna go.
it doesn't need to be.
No.
It doesn't need to be. For me, hopefully next week we'll see Io Shirai again. We will see
Mhm.
Tegan Knox. We will
Yeah,
see
Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair
Yep.
because they all want a shot at the
Yeah.
title. So to me, it's either you need to have them fight in a tournament after Rhea Ripley and Shayna go at it. Maybe whoever comes out of that have a tournament or have like a fatal four way once again to get all these women in a match, and whoever comes out of that, then that should be the number one contender to go against whoever against the champ, whoever is the champion at that time, either
Yeah.
Ripley or Shayna. So we're gonna go to main event time, John Paul. You can
Yeah.
feel like the turkey's ready. You're about
Mhm.
to eat it. You start smelling the turkey. You start smelling the mashed potato, stuffing, cranberry. See, I see you with Finn Balor's shirt right there.
Mhm.
So you're
For
getting
my
ready for
boy.
that. You said, and main event time. Tommaso Ciampa, like right there, against Finn Balor. So walk me through that match and your thoughts about it.
So both men will tie up and a headlock takeover by Balor. Balor gets champ in the corner, a suplex, a 1 count. They keep going back and forth. They fight during the commercial break, which I don't know. I always have problems with commercial breaks during the main event, but
That's a problem, and
this
another
main event,
problem to me.
yeah. Go
It's
ahead.
like, I'm sorry, Jean Paul, that I'm cutting you off. I really
No, you're fine.
apologize from the bottom
No,
of
no,
my
no,
heart.
no, no. You're good.
But I think that like they should not have like the two screens, the match and the commercial, because to me I get distracted.
Yeah,
I
I
try
don't.
to pay
Yeah.
attention to the one thing, but I can't. And also
Yep.
they
That's how I am.
reduce the image so little that I'm not even going to be able to see what's going on. So
Yeah,
anyway, go ahead.
that's how I am too, and I agree. I'm like either have the commercial or just don't have the commercial. I like the picture in picture. I'm sure some people appreciate it, and I do too. But there's really not a whole lot of action that goes on, so it's like why even have it?
But for us that we're paying attention, we need to see the whole picture instead of like the two pictures. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So then
Walk me through.
later on in the match, a huge drop kick on Champa into the barricade. They took this to the outside. Balor tries for a 1916 on Champa, like how he did to Gargano on the ramp, but he
Yes.
counters and he hits
Yeah.
the air raid crash, which was the move he used on Adam Cole from on top of the cell.
Yes.
And then
That was a beautiful move too.
yeah, and then after that, Balor makes it back into the ring at a 9 count, so that was another, almost a count out victory.
So a lot of they kind of like overdoing this spot a lot throughout this show. So for the ones that you know.
Yes, and then a huge backbreaker on Finn for a 2 count, and then Balor they fight back. He gets a drop kick on Champa. Champa counters the stomp with another air raid crash from the top rope for a near fall 2 count. And when he hit this, I was thinking like, okay, now Finn's got to win because it's one of those things where how many times can you hit a big move? Now he didn't go for his finisher yet, but obviously this isn't going to be their only match. This is just the beginning to this feud. But I figured at this point that it was Balor's victory, and then he tries for the fairy tale ending, but Cole comes out, he interrupts, and then the roll up on Champa for the win.
Adam Cole, baby. He comes
Yep.
out. He helps Finn Balor.
Yep.
So he distracts Champa, and then Finn Balor gets the win. A really good match. I really enjoy, like, the small guys. They would call it vanilla midgets. I don't really
Mhm.
care. These guys can put always good matches. And Champa and Balor are really good at what they do. So the match was really intense. Was good. And of course, they needed to have some like a bullshit finish. I will say that, just a bullshit finish, just because both of them look good.
Yeah, you
And
had to have a bullshit finish to keep the feud going because there has to be a three-way. Both of those guys want what Cole
Goldie.
has.
They
Yeah, they
want
want
Goldie.
Goldie,
They want
and
Goldie.
so you gotta keep it that the story's there. No guy can go over clean now. And in this match, while they did a lot of shit, I feel like this match wasn't like he did the air raid crash spot twice, and he redid a lot of stuff that he did with Gargano when he attacked Gargano. I feel like they're saving a lot of stuff for a takeover or like a future match later on down the line. But
Hmm.
this was still a good main event. And my favorite part afterwards is just when Cole thinks like, "Oh yeah, Finn, you're with
He's our
me,
friend,
right?"
yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
then even something may even better happen.
yeah. And he does. I don't know if that's like a bicycle kick they call it
It's
or
the
what.
Pele kick.
Yeah, the Pele kick,
It's the
and
Pele kick.
he does that to Cole, and then
It's the same thing
Balor.
that he did to Gargano.
Yep. But I like that though, like when he hit that on Cole, because like Cole, like he had no idea see it coming. I mean, he didn't have a good night, fucking getting thrown into like the fifth row,
He did
and then
not
getting
have.
this Pele kick
I
to the
love
head.
that comment because
Yeah.
he did not have a great night. Adam Cole, I will keep saying that. The best thing I ever seen from Adam Cole throughout this load work, all these matches that he's been put on, like to me, this year is all Adam Cole.
Mm.
2019 will be remembered in my eyes, I think in your eyes, in everybody of the Roadbreak family. I think that Adam Cole, this is his year.
Oh
But the
yeah, and
spot that is going to define that year for me is just being thrown
yeah,
by
yep.
Keith Lee.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, what was it? Is when he beat Gargano or when he
Oh
did this or
no.
did that? It'll just be Keith Lee throwing
Yeah,
him
well,
into
no,
the crowd.
flying thanks to
Yeah,
Keith Lee because that was to me the best. And I really appreciate the comment that you said he did not have a good night
yeah,
because he received the
yeah.
Pele kick.
If it wasn't,
Because, yeah, I
if it
want to
was,
tell you something here. Finn Balor does a really beautiful Pele kick
uh,
because AJ Styles does it, but it's not as good. I will
yeah,
say, like, Finn Balor hits the best Pele kick. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah. For me, the one thing, if it wasn't for his Survivor Series match, to go back, we said to Adam Cole, like, which was a great match. People were saying that was the match of the night, and I think so too. I think I might have actually said that in our review
Yes, you did
that if
say that.
Cole
It
was
was the match
done,
of the night. Yes.
and
Yes.
besides that match, he did not have a good weekend.
Oh no! After
Yeah.
that, no, he just kept losing and losing and being thrown, and now he got a Pele kick, and he was thrown by Kid Lee, and he lost in War Games. But anyway, you gotta appreciate Adam Cole's professionalism. You gotta
Oh, for
appreciate
sure.
his passion, intensity for the sport, because this guy has put his body on the line so many times this year. Is unbelievable.
And that's why he's still the champ. That's why he's had a meaningful, long title run.
Yes, and that's why
Yeah.
he's Adam Cole, baby.
Baby.
So
Exactly.
it was good. The episode closes like that. We'll still
Yep.
don't know which side Finn Balor is on. If
To
he's the
me,
Champa,
if
if
I'm
Cole, or himself.
booking this, it's he's on his own team, and you're gonna do. If this is me personally booking it, I'm gonna go with you have Champa and Balor in a match, and then Balor's the one who takes it
From Adam Cole.
from Adam Cole. Yeah, and then I feel like I almost want to see a program between Champa and Johnny, then to when he comes back to be the number one contender. Because
That's
then you're
nice.
doing something where you have the two friends fight, and it's like emotional. And is it like, Gargano wants his revenge on Balor because he never got to fight him at Takeover, but Champa wants Goldie. So is Champa willing to hurt his friend again to get Goldie? So I feel
Yes.
like you could really do a story there, and that could be a program, like I said, while Balor, he's the one who beats Cole and then is the champion. So
Oh
that's how
yeah,
I
like
would book it. But I'm really
my
excited to
program
see
when
where
it
they
comes
go.
to like how I will do it is to me I will put a triple threat match for the next takeover. That's
Hmm.
gonna be in February 25th, I think, in Oregon. Triple threat match: Balor, Champa, and Adam Cole. Okay, Balor is about to win the championship, and guess who comes back? Johnny
Gargano.
Gargano. He pulls him off, and then you keep that feud going, and then Cole retains the title. WrestleMania weekend, you have finally Champa and Adam Cole in a singles match, and you have Balor and Gargano.
I'm fine with that too.
Now
I think
that's
that
how
would be
I will do it.
badass.
That's cool. I will do it, but
Yeah,
I
if you
think that Johnny Gargano's return is going to be sooner than later. So
yeah. So what did you think? For me, the show it was a decent show. Like we didn't expect too much, after all the weekend that they WWE put on. These Fallout shows usually aren't the greatest thing, but it was a decent episode. The main event wasn't bad. It set up a good story, like we just fantasy booked, and the cruiserweight match I thought was legit.
yeah, you said it at the best. I think that like the program itself, the show was good for what it was. It
Mhm.
wasn't mind blowing, nothing out of the ordinary, but with what they had, they did something good. I think that it's gonna be AEW in the ratings? I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
AEW is gonna regain that crown when we see the ratings coming out either today at night or tomorrow morning. I think AEW is gonna get that back. And if you ask me, who of the two you pick the best episode, I think AEW put something a little bit better. I'm not saying way better. I'll just keep it as a little better, and just because the rest of the wrestlers of the NXT brand they didn't have all the roster because a lot of them probably needed a break. They wanted to heal a little bit. We didn't
Yeah.
see Matt Riddle. We didn't see Io Shirai. We didn't see Bianca Belair, like you said. We haven't seen Knox. We haven't seen a lot of guys. We didn't see Angel Garza and all of that.
Tegan Knox is selling that injury, which that I was fine with. The one Angel Garza, not seeing him when all he took was that sucker punch to the face, and that was how many days ago, and he's still not here.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
so, well, if they want to give him a break or want to overexpose the guy, I understand and it makes sense. The one
yeah,
thing that we have for next week is going to be Damian Priest against Killian Dane. Something that
yeah,
we didn't mention. They had a video package, and then they announced that they're going to have this match for NXT next week. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that that match is going to be really good, and
Oh, that
hopefully
match will be legit. I think.
I think Jean Paul they should be the one guy that's going to challenge for the North American Championship needs to
Oh
come
yeah.
out of that match. You're
Oh
hearing
for
it
sure.
first right here on Road Break. T. Killian Dane, Damian Priest. Whoever wins that match, it should be the number one
Why
contender
don't
for
Why don't
the
you
North
give me
American
a
Championship.
give me a prediction then for that? What do you think? Who are you going with?
Damian Priest.
Damien,
Damian,
that's who I was going with
I'm
too.
already predicted. Yeah,
Unfortunately, Killian Dane, like I said, I don't know what you do with him. I like
he's
that he's on
legit.
television, like yeah, and he's legit, but I
He's
don't know
legit,
what
but
you do.
It's not. I don't think it's my cup of tea. To
Yeah,
honestly, but Damian Priest does a lot for me because it's the whole package,
yep.
intro, theme song, the whole entrance, everything for me makes sense, and his character is really legit. is really badass, and is kind of like a new Aleister Black.
Yeah, I want to see let Killian Dane go to NXT UK and challenge Walter, or do something with that. I think that would be badass.
See that's something that you
Because
can actually do.
those are two believable guys.
Yeah, and then you can have a really good match out of that because they're two monster trucks.
Hmm.
They're two
That's
big
what I mean.
forces
Yeah,
that can go at each other, and
those
they
guys
can
are. Yeah.
produce something good because besides the fact that they're big, they can actually wrestle.
Oh yeah.
Both of them, and you give Walter a contender that is actually his size, and
Hmm.
he's not gonna end up being just two just big trucks once again and just colliding. It's gonna be a good wrestling match. So that's
Yeah.
what they should do. I really agree with you because to me, Killian Dane is being wasted a little bit. But who knows? Maybe he wins next week, and then he's actually the one that is going to challenge for the North American Championship. Who knows? We
Yeah.
don't know yet with NXT. We don't know with Triple H. We don't know with Shawn Michaels. So, any closing thoughts, Jean Paul?
No, except I'm ready to fucking eat some turkey. I'm starving, man. So let's get out of here.
Okay, let's get out of here,
It,
guys. Once again, we want to thank every single one of you that watches the show. Happy Thanksgiving to
yep.
every
Thank you,
single one of the
everybody.
people that follow. Enjoy that turkey, stuff it up. All of you, too sweet for all of you, to all the family right there. Please comment on the video how they can find us on social media.
We got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All the links are in the description. Please click them. It doesn't take long just to follow us. We don't just post videos, we post memes. And like I said in the Raw review, we got so much more coming in the future. We're not just going to be like every run-of-the-mill bullshit channel on YouTube that just does reviews. We got so much more coming. And if you're not
We have
subscribed to
more
Road
stuff in
Break
the
now,
works,
what are you doing?
But for now, we're just gonna focus on the turkey because already our families are calling us. It's like, come on, it's getting cold. They're waiting for us, but we're never gonna be compromising robbery. You guys is what we really care about. So, guys, once again, we'll be back tomorrow. We have a lot coming up. We have SmackDown Live with you guys. So, Jean Paul, you and me.
Yep.